Welcome back, watch people. Now, I hadn't planned on making a video today because tonight at 8 o'clock I'm releasing the video that I think you've all been waiting for, and that's the one in which we name who you have voted as Britain's worst authorised Rolex dealer, or is it worst authorised dealers? You'll have to wait and see. But tonight at 8 o'clock is a video that you simply don't want to miss. So why am I making this video after planning to have the day off? Well, after we launched our campaign earlier this week to have the official Rolex Lost and Stolen Register reactivated and available again, once again, to the general public and to independent watch dealers in a genuine and much needed attempt in a bid to slow down the rate of watch crime, not only in the UK but right across the world. Like a lot of you viewers out there who wrote to Rolex, who emailed Rolex, I've received a reply this morning, and it seems so have you guys out there. And I wanted to make a comment on that because I want to thank each and every one of you for helping me and taking part in this much needed and absolutely vital campaign where we need to lobby Rolex and ask them, initially at least, ask them politely to reinstate the much needed Rolex Lost and Stolen Register. Now, this morning, like a lot of you guys, I've received a reply. Let me read it out to you because it's a rather brief, some might call it curt reply, corporate speak, whichever way you want to look at it. But let me read it out to you just in case you didn't receive yours yet, at least. It says, "Dear Mr. Thorpe, thank you for your email. We would like to assure you that we take the security of every Rolex watch seriously and act to protect the interest of Rolex owners. We continue to support the authorities and responsible parties in the resolution and prevention of criminal and fraudulent behaviour. Experience tells us that our current approach towards our Lost and Stolen Register is more effective way to protect the interests of our customers, which remains our priority. Thank you again for your interest in this matter, and please be assured of our best endeavours. Regards, Customer Services, Rolex." Now, I don't know what you guys think of that. I can tell you what I think of it. I think it's a very brief standard email that's been sent out without any thought or consideration. If ever there was an email that smacked of corporate speak, I mean, look, let's be honest, guys, it's the middle finger of replies, isn't it? Let's tell it for what it is. I mean, look, let's analyse the very brief email that Rolex have bothered to put together to the hundreds, if not thousands of emails that they have no doubt received this week. We would like to assure you that we take the security of every Rolex watch seriously and act to protect the interest of Rolex owners. Well, how are you doing that? By keeping your official Lost and Stolen Register a trade secret. I'd like a reply to that answer. How is that possible? How are you making sure that the security of every Rolex watch and the interest of Rolex owners is being taken seriously when you continue to keep that Lost and Stolen Register all to yourselves? But it gets even worse, doesn't it? Because the second paragraph really is, frankly, quite an insult. I mean, come on, guys, we're not stupid. Don't treat us like children with corporate speak replies that are basically an insult to our intelligence. What experience is that exactly? You say, in our experience, our current approach towards the Lost and Stolen Register is a more effective way to protect the interests of our customers. How on earth how can you say that? I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling. As you know, look, don't preach to us when it comes to experience, when it comes to being the victim of watch crime, about being the victim of being shot, mugged, stabbed in the street. Just last week, a young man was shot dead in the streets of Amsterdam for his Rolex watch. Yet in your rather curt and brief, patronising reply to watch people this morning, you say that your experience tells you that your approach to the Lost and Stolen Register is a more effective way to protect the interests of your customers. That's absolute rubbish. But look, listen, the line of communication is open, Rolex, now, isn't it? You've thank you for, to their credit, at least they bothered to reply, but they kind of had to, didn't they, after the sheer weight of numbers that has been emailing them this week. But it goes further now, guys. If you feel like I feel that Rolex have insulted my intelligence with this rather standard reply, this dismissive reply to them, write back to them and put the questions to them, my questions to them. How is your experience telling you that your approach to a secretive lost and stolen register is a more effective way to protect your customers' wearers of your watches from watch crime and the violence that it often brings? That's the answer that I want right now. What is your experience? Because as far as I'm aware, nobody at Rolex, in the hierarchy at least, has ever been mugged, shot, stabbed, beaten up like I've been, robbed, violently robbed by masked men, etc, etc. None of you guys have had people in your home scamming you out of watches like poor Tony experienced just yesterday. Don't preach to us, the general public, about experience, because I can tell you now that nobody is more experienced in the world than the man on the street who is suffering from watch crime each and every day of the week right across the world, partly because, not solely because, but partly because these thieves know that the lost and stolen register isn't available to the general public and isn't available to independent watch dealers, which means it's giving them license, carte blanche, to go out, steal watches from people, take them to private individuals, take them to independent dealers and sell them, in the knowledge that those people cannot check that watch against the official Rolex lost and stolen register. What experience, Rolex, do you have that tells you that that's in our best interest? I'd be interested to know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've got this entirely wrong, and I'll be open to knowing that I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll be the first one to put my hands up and say, do you know what? I didn't consider that. You're right and I'm wrong. You also say that you continue to support the authorities and responsible parties in the resolution and prevention of criminal and fraudulent behaviour. Well, what exactly does that mean? Is there any chance that we could have that in some kind of English layman's terms that we can all potentially understand? We continue to support the authorities. No, you don't. You continue to support yourselves. You continue to support your own authorised Rolex dealerships. You continue to support your own income and your own business and your own interests. Who are the responsible parties in the resolution and prevention of criminal and fraudulent behaviour? What exactly does that mean? Rolex, who do you think you're speaking to? You're speaking to average, everyday people on the street that love and support your brand. Pay us a little bit more respect, please. This reminds me of being a kid, and I'd ask my mum and dad if I could have something, and they'd say no, and I'd say, well, why not? And they'd just say, because. Look, we're not children, Rolex. Give us a sensible explanation that we can at least try and understand and respect. Now, guys, look, I've got to apologise if this isn't the best produced, the best put together video that I've ever made, because I've got things to do today. I really need to get out and about. But look, Rolex, and for everyone out there that's watching this video, please, I implore each and every one of you to act upon my initial video to contact Rolex. If you have already done so and you've had that reply, please reply to them again. What questions does their reply raise in your mind? What further explanation would you like from Rolex, apart from a rather confusing brief couple of paragraphs? And I'm going to tell Rolex right now, I'm going to tell Mr. DeLaser right now, because I'm sure that he's actually probably seen that initial video. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to tell Rolex in Geneva straight, I'm going to continue to highlight the horrible physical and emotional effects that happen to members of the general public when they are beaten up, robbed, scammed, defrauded out of their Rolex watches. And in my humble opinion, you are aiding and abetting these criminals in their wicked ways, because, as I've already said, they know that those watches cannot be checked against the official Rolex lost and stolen register unless and until that watch finds its way back into a Rolex service centre. And couldn't that just be the crux of the whole matter? Make of that what you will. Over to you, Rolex.